Please note that all parties, companies, and individuals discussed in today's video are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law and not the public eye. Please bear in mind that the expressed opinions of the individuals featured in this video are their expressed opinions. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey guys, Thad here, and welcome to another video. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today's video is going to be a little different format, and I must apologize in advance for my scratchy, not very sultry voice that you are used to and know and love, because I am under the weather. I've been sick for the past 2 or 3 days, and I've been wanting to get this video out, and I just can't wait anymore. So please bear with me as we continue this video. Today's topic is going to be about Unsleeved Media versus Wizards of the Coast, which has been a very interesting, very prominent Magic the Gathering community topic for the past couple of weeks now. And I know I'm kind of coming in on the tail end of that, but please bear with me. I do have some opinions. I think I do have some very interesting takes on this particular subject. So how long have I been following Unsleeved Media, and what have I observed as to his character? So Jeremy is the owner of Unsleeved Media, and previously branded as MTG headquarters, and has been a very interesting individual to follow, just because he's very opinionated. He has very interesting opinions, in my opinion. And I don't always agree with his opinions, but I do find a lot of merit in his reasoning. I do find a lot of merit in his understanding and critical thinking, which is, I think, a very interesting take on Jeremy. But I have been following him for, I don't know, about a year and a half, somewhere around there. I just started getting back into Magic probably about a year and a half ago. Decided I wanted to get back into playing again, and it's been actually a very interesting ride. And I think maybe I just came in at a bad time with all of these wonderful things that have been happening in the MTG YouTube community. But as far as Jeremy's character, I think he definitely portrays somebody very differently on social media, on YouTube, and Facebook than he does in real life. Because I have followed a lot of different people like Boogie2988 and Sargon of Khan, and I honestly haven't followed 100% Sargon of Khan, but I have watched a few of his videos specifically about Jeremy. And seemingly when he is with other individuals, he's a very nice person, and I want to make sure that I have that in here, because I believe that he portrays a different character, if you will, his social media, on his YouTube videos, Facebook posts, and things like that. And I think that that character gets amplified when he makes these posts and he makes these YouTube videos, which is a very interesting character in my opinion. Now, if these are, a lot of these are the opinions that he has brought out on a lot of subjects, are I would say definitely a little dickish, in my opinion. I really feel that some of them are over the top. I feel that some of them don't have as much merit, as far as basically just being mean-spirited, I guess we could say. I can't really say that it's targeted harassment or targeted anything. I just feel that they're just kind of mean-spirited in a lot of ways. And I think he does it on purpose to get a rise out of people. I think he does it on purpose to be like, hey, you should kind of take a look at this a little bit more closely. And I kind of get that, because I have been following him for a while. I think somebody from the outside looking in who just started following him, or just started watching his videos just out of the blue, I think will have a very different opinion than somebody who's been following him for at least a year or so, as much as I have. So what are my thoughts on the evidences given on the Christine Sprankle's alleged long-term target harassment against Jeremy? Especially since the evidences, quote-unquote, I should say alleged evidences that have been brought against him. I would have to say, after reviewing the so-called target harassment posts from Twitter that were screenshotted and shared, the video that had subsequently been flagged and taken down because it was improperly flagged by a bunch of individuals who got together and got that taken down. And then the snippets from the live stream that I saw, I mean, this is supposedly, according to some of these individuals that have talked to Christine, and Christine, I guess, hasn't really said much on this subject, but from what I understand, there's been years of targeted harassment from Jeremy from Unsleeved Media. But over the past 6 months, I only recall that one video, that one live stream, then a couple of tweets over the past 6 months. And I don't really view that as targeted harassment, just because of the fact that it's not continual. It's just like kind of spurts here and there talking about cosplay, with Christine Sprinkle's name kind of coming up in the mix of it. Now, don't get me wrong, there was some actually very mean and I think hurtful things that he did say about Christine Sprinkles, and those are his opinions, and I feel that as long as it's not promoting violence, they can say their opinions as much as they want. That's under the First Amendment and all that good jazz. But I don't see the targeted long-term harassment that everybody is like all up in arms about, and I really don't see it. And again, that's just one man's opinion. Do you think that Jeremy was right or wrong in his video, live stream, and social media posts on Christine Sprinkles and cosplay? I think he is in the right to express his opinion and to share and express his thoughts on the topic of cosplay, and if you want to bring Christine Sprinkles in it, that's fine, as long as it's not defaming that person or individual in a way where it could be seen as targeted harassment or those kinds of things. I personally don't think that he was in the right in some of the mean-spirited things that he did say, but again, like, people say mean things all the time, and I just don't see why people are so upset over it. Like, it wasn't really a directed missile fire. It was more of like, hey, all cosplayers are this, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't really a lot of targeted things except for his opinion on her looks, which is, what did he say? Like, people don't want to see 6 out of 10s try to dress up as 8 out of 10s, which, in saying that cosplay is just lingerie, which it is. I mean, it is just, mildly attractive or even attractive women just dressing up in, in different outfits. It's like, whatever. I don't see cosplay as being a bad thing. I don't see anything wrong with him expressing his opinion, as long as it doesn't turn into violence or promoting violence, which he has not done. So I would just want to say that he's not in the wrong here in that regard. Why do you think that some of the more popular MTG YouTube community jumped onto this opportunity, and is it a smear campaign? And why did this subsequently get him banned for life from playing Magic the Gathering? Okay, so this is like kind of a two-parter here. I do believe that there has been, from what I've understood for the past year or so that I've been watching Jeremy Talarian and kind of not really engaging so much, but more or less just observing of what's been going on between these individuals with Jeremy and Wedge, Brian, and all these different individuals. I do kind of feel it is a bit of a smear campaign against Jeremy. Like, it's obvious they have a lot of disagreements. They ferociously and very passionately disagree with each other for some reason or another. I'm not really sure 100% why. I've heard there was like a Facebook group created and there were some differences and they all broke off and started their own things, which this is all stuff that happens in this kind of communities, especially in the gaming communities, where people kind of have differences of opinion. They break off and kind of get other people that are on the same wavelength in their opinions and their views, and then they start another group and kind of grow it from there, which this happens all the freaking time. When I was in World of Warcraft and playing that game religiously for almost 4 or 5 years of my life, I can't tell you how many different guilds I've been in and tried to get in and get out and create new guilds because people were toxic or whatever the reason was. I do feel that it's been a bit of a smear campaign against them, especially with all these different YouTube videos and tweets and Facebook groups, especially mobilizing to downvote and to get videos removed or flag his Twitter accounts, Facebook groups. That is the very definition of target harassment. And these individuals really do need to crawl back under the rocks that they came from, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Jeremy is absolutely receiving the ass end of what they define as targeted harassment, and it needs to stop. And I really do hope that Wizards of the Coast gets involved, because they already are involved. They might as well finish what they started. But I think everybody just needs to come to some kind of terms where they can just kind of get this all behind them and get back to making good Magic the Gathering content. I think that's like the best case scenario of getting out of this big smear campaign that's being launched against Jeremy. And why did this subsequently get him banned for life? It's just because, you know, a lot of people, even the smallest groups, if they have a very loud voice, they're going to be heard, and then they're going to react to those voices. It's a very small group of people that are very working diligently hard against Jeremy, trying to get him deplatformed completely off of YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Patreon, which is basically, you know, his whole livelihood right now. I mean, granted, he apparently he does have a full-time job, which is awesome that he has something to fall back on. Because, yeah, I mean, I've tried personally myself to try to get this YouTube thing off and going, and it doesn't pay the bills. In fact, you probably dump more money into it per month than you would get out of it per month for the first who knows how long before you start getting popular. But because they mobilized and they did so well at, you know, continuing their smear campaigns and Twitter and using, you know, these feeds of social media to get the word out that everybody needs to, you know, flag his videos, everybody needs to flag his Patreon account. And they just mobilized very well, sending feedback to Wizards of the Coast to say, hey, this guy needs to be banned now because of what's happened with Christine Sprankles, and we're upset and we're angry. And I understand, like, I kind of understand a little bit from what WotC is going through, because they look at it like, oh my gosh, there are thousands of people, maybe hundreds, I don't know, thousands. I would probably eventually say I don't think they would really put a drop in the bucket if it was just a few handful of people. But obviously there was enough people reporting Jeremy for targeted harassment, which, again, this is all alleged. This isn't anything that has been substantiated with any kind of physical evidence. You are innocent until you're proven guilty in a court of law, period. Like, I hate it that people are, you know, putting all these videos out and basically condemning somebody to something that isn't true. I think that's really awful, and we need to change that really, really fast in this social media world that we live in nowadays. But yeah, I mean, they mobilized very well. They got him banned for life because they're very good at continually, you know, shooting a barrage of feedback to WotC to the point where they're just like, well, the people have spoken. We must ban him. And it's really sad that they feel that they can cross that barrier from their game, their sanctioned events, their Facebook groups, their employees. They can reach across all of that to completely demolish somebody's livelihood. I think that is terribly, terribly wrong. All right, where am I on the professor's YouTube video targeting Jeremy's character in social media? I've watched that video a couple of times, and honestly, the only thing the professor, or Brian, we should call him, the only thing that Brian really touched on and really showed is that sometimes Jeremy is an asshole. That's the only thing that they really brought to light. Just basically said, hey, look at all of these crap posts they send about people and blah blah blah, and these jokes and these memes and all of this stuff. The only thing they proved is that he's a jerk sometimes, and he personifies that because of these different things that have happened in his career. And he continues to facilitate that. And I think, I mean, from my standpoint, I can tell and understand that it's hilarious. But yeah, the only thing that we've established is that sometimes he's a jerk. That's really all that video established, and that's it. It did not bring to light any kind of form of evidence or any kind of light of this continual years, apparently, of targeted harassment towards Christine Sprankles. And another thing, like even if Jeremy actually said or actually like had like a group that he's just like, all right, guys, we're gonna go to Christine Sprinkle's, Twitter and YouTube feeds and Facebook feeds, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tell her that she's only a 3 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10, or whatever the case may be. Even if he did that for a short period of time, people still have free will and freedom of choice. And I feel that a lot of times we're like, oh, well, because you're in a political power, you sway people's opinions, and you can lure people into doing certain things. And I get that. I give a little bit of of merit to that point. However, people still have free will of choice. They have the will to make choices. And I think to accredit an individual for all the things that have happened to them because of a video they made or a post they made, and that, oh yeah, it's all their fault. This is all victim mentality. Like, you're in control of you. All right. So what are my thoughts on the prolonged targeted attacks and harassment against Jeremy that have transpired after Christine Sprinkles accused Jeremy of prolonged harassment? I think this huge smear campaign that is being thrown and just verbal diarrhea against Jeremy right now is absolutely despicable. It's disgusting. I really feel that they're doing exactly what they think that Jeremy has done, and they're doing it to him. And all these individuals now are rising up against him and posting how-to videos and how-to guides on the internet of how to downvote and get his stuff banned or get it suspended for periods of time so he can't do his job. I think it's absolutely despicable and disgusting. I hope this eventually subsides and everybody kind of moves on and gets back to creating good, high-quality Magic the Gathering content, because this is not helping anybody. It's dividing the community. It's creating discontent. It's creating hate. People are getting banned because they're wearing shirts or they're defending or people that might differ in their opinions at local game stores and getting banned because of it. And this is absolutely ridiculous. Leave your crap at the door, go inside, and play the dang game. We're here at the local game stores to have fun and enjoy Magic the Gathering experience. We shouldn't care if you have a differing opinion. We shouldn't care if you have a penis or a vagina or both or none at all. You might be a Ken doll down there. I don't know. I don't care. If you identify as the flying unicorn in the sky that has married Buddha, I do not care. I just want to go to the LGS, sit down, play some Magic, have a few laughs. Who knows? Maybe I can, win a couple of booster packs and the promo of that month or whatever. That's what I want. I want to get back to playing the game, having fun, and just enjoying life as a whole. And I think we need to get back to that. All right. Where do I stand on WotC reaching far outside of the game to police social media and YouTube channels that are not WotC or Hasbro or even their employees? This is actually a very good question, because I am not sure why WotC feels that they have the power and the ability to reach outside of their game, outside their employees, outside of their company, to start policing social media, YouTube, and Facebook. Like, that blows my mind. Like, they're like, we're going to be policing this because you are associated with our game, because you played games with our company and our products. So because we don't like your opinions, and because you've said some things that are nasty and mean, we're going to take away your ability to play our game. What? That does not make any sense to me at all. And for a person, a reasonable human being, a person with some reason in their brain, they should look at that as, you need to go back to your game, you need to fix your game, you need to leave your politics, your opinions, and your overreach back with the game. Like, if Jeremy had, had cost somebody, or if he had bad sportsmanship, if he was rude, if he was mean during an actual event, you know, at a GP or PTQ or Pro Tour or whatever, then you have some merit to do your bannings and stuff like that. And what is up with you not banning cheaters? What is up with that? Like, you are more willing to ban somebody because he said some mean things that you didn't like than to ban people that are abusing the mechanics, abusing their power, abusing the game. Like, they're basically destroying the game, and you will not ban people for life. Like, that's just beyond me. I need to get to the next question because I'm just going to go off on this one. Was WotC in their right to ban people outside of their sanctioned events or employees just because they play their game? No, absolutely not. Hasbro, WotC, whoever should not have the power to look at social media and Facebook and things and decide if that person can or cannot play their game. Period. Now, I think it's a very different story if you're an employee of Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast, because that's a completely different story. They're definitely under the blanket of their own company terms of service, employee handbooks, agreements, etc., etc., etc. However, I do not believe that they have the power to go, this person's being kind of mean on social media, so we don't want them to play our game anymore. I really believe they should not have that power. I believe that they should not be the police of freedom of speech on these platforms. I think they need to get back to fixing their game, their card quality, their mechanics, making the game more valuable, boosting up the secondary market, taking the dang product away from Walmart, Target, Kmart, drugstores like Walgreens. I couldn't believe that I saw product in Walgreens. Get them out of these huge Fortune 500 conglomerate companies and get them back into the hands of local game stores so they can start making ends meet and start giving out a lot of great product. I am very passionate about this because of the fact that I went to my local game store and they're doing tournaments for $1. You know what the prize pack is if you play? A couple of commons, basically. They just did like a Russian roulette, or they just like shuffled up a couple of packs and then just kind of handed out stacks instead of like winning booster packs. And like, it's just sad. I hope that I can support them and kind of continue to build that up and get back to like a $6 or $8 entry fee so we can actually have a good prize pool, because it was just ridiculous. I'm not going to spend $200 on a deck and not try my hardest to at least win a couple of packs. I mean, come on. At least let's try to win my money back. Should WotC uphold their definitions of hate speech or harassment across the board, or leave it to a case-by-case basis? And then where does it leave us as WotC targets popular individuals or opinions different from theirs, and where does it end? I really do love this question because it's a twofold. I really think that WotC should focus on just what's in their realm and what's the definition of their company, with sanctioned events, with coverage on their sanctioned events, things like that. That's where they should be focusing on. They should be banning cheaters. They should be focusing on those things and not worrying so much about their feelings on the company or whatever outside of it. Like, they should basically leave it out. So if they're going to consider things that Jeremy says as targeted harassment, which is absolutely absurd, but yeah, I think we should fight fire with fire. I think that if Jeremy has targeted this hate speech and his harassment, then we should start banning the professor. We should start banning Wedge. We should start banning all these other people for saying mean and harassment things on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, because you can't just like they just basically pronounce this is our position on hate speech and harassment, and this is how we define it. This is what WotC has done with banning Jeremy and Taewoo and all these other individuals, is that this is the new definition of hate speech and harassment, which is absolutely ridiculous. And so, yeah, I really do hope that they ban Brian for that video that he made on Jeremy. I really do. I hope that they go, oh, yep, well, Professor's got to get banned now because, you know, he's in that definition, that realm of hate speech and harassment. I think they should ban Wedge. I think they should ban that one judge. I can't remember his channel for the life of me, but, you know, correct me in the comments below, where his whole video is a big hate video. From what we understand from Watsy's position on these things, that's considered hate speech and prolonged harassment. And so, yeah, I think they should just start just banning people left and right. We should just whitewash the whole MTG YouTube community and start over. Does that sound good, Watsy? Does that sound like something you want to do? No? Well, then maybe we should do this by case basis. I think you should have at least looked at the actual evidence against Jeremy with Christine Sprinkles, which there was none, not prolonged, not continual, not by any definition, would not hold up in court in my opinion. But where does that leave us? Watsy's going to have to either poop or get off the pot, basically. They're either going to have to start banning a bunch of people and continue with this new precedence of what we define as hate speech and targeted harassment and continue with that. Or they need to reverse it and be like, you know what? We should have looked at the actual evidence and not have done this so knee-jerk feeling, because facts don't have feelings. That's what they should do. So out of all of this, is this a First Amendment freedom of speech issue? I really do believe so. I believe that these social justice warriors and others are using Wizards of the Coast platform to try and to thwart freedom of speech, in my opinion. Now, I know Jeremy has said time and time again, it's not about freedom of speech, it's not about freedom of speech, but in my opinion, it really is. Until there's like a clear-cut thing of, you know, what you can or cannot say on platforms, like, they should not be policing it. That's for Twitter to deal with Twitter. That's for YouTube to deal with YouTube. That's for Facebook to deal with Facebook. Does Jeremy deserve an apology? I'm kind of fence sitting on this particular issue. Does Jeremy deserve an apology from these individuals of targeted harassment, from these individuals who are sending hate mobs to flag all of his content, to really hurt his livelihood? Does Jeremy deserve an apology? Well, I don't believe he deserves an apology for their opinions. I don't believe that he deserves apology for what's transpired, just because of the fact that they're not, like, again, you're in charge of you. You're an individual, you're a human being. Like, you can't blame other people for your decisions or your mistakes, period. But could they have at least said, hey, you know, because of the videos that we made, you know, we're sorry for the death threats you've received and stuff like that? I think that would be a nice olive branch. Is it necessary? No. But I would at least like to see an apology from those YouTube creators saying, you know, Jeremy, we're really sorry that we have created this issue. We're sorry that there was little to no evidence suggesting that you had targeted harassment, a prolonged targeted harassment against Christine Sprinkles, and we're sorry for fueling this fire. We were wrong. I think that's the only apology video I would, or at least a tweet, that I would, if I was in Jeremy's shoes, that's what I would expect. That's what I would expect, is just be like, hey, you know what? We're sorry there wasn't really as much evidence as we thought there was, and we're sorry for blowing this out of proportion. That's all that I would. I wouldn't, you know, apologize for what other people do and stuff like that, or your opinion. But I would at least expect an apology like that. But that's just my opinion. Where should the MTG YouTube community go from here? I really think, as a whole, I think we should move on. But I really do believe that Jeremy from Unsleeved Media needs to continue to vet this out, to continue to pursue, and to hopefully, you know, out of all of this, in a perfect world, he would get that ban reversed. I would love to see him and Tiwu and any other individuals that were banned because of their support of Jeremy be reversed and give them maybe like a 3 to 6 month ban, if that, just to be like, hey, we're aware of you. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. But again, I think that's just mostly saving face. I really believe that they shouldn't have banned them at all. I really believe that after the evidences that were presented, they should have been like, there's not really enough here to warrant a ban. But we could just be like, hey, we're noticing you're saying some mean things. Maybe we should tone that down a little bit. I think maybe just like a warning. Like, I don't think it's an bannable offense because it wasn't at a sanctioned event. It wasn't with an employee of Magic the Gathering. Like, again, like I really feel, and just for those that are just like, oh well, Christine Sprinkles, she worked for Wizards of the Coast. No, she was contracted to do cosplay. She wasn't an actual member or employee of Wizards of the Coast, as far as I understand it. But again, that's one man's opinion. I could be wrong. Guys, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope this is something I might try in the future. If you do guys like this, obviously let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on these questions and answers that I've gone over today. But you guys have a wonderful day, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.